Hi, it's Kamish again, and this time I have a video that I'd like to use to show you how I clean my vinyl records. The system that I use, the cleaning fluid that I use, it's a recipe that I mix myself in the medicine cabinet, and all of the other tools that I use to ensure that my vinyl is as pristine and clean as it can possibly get before my stylus ever hits those microscopic grooves. And with the stylus going through miles and miles of those grooves, I want to make sure that I'm not subjecting my stylus. I've got a bit of an expensive one that I've upgraded to recently. I want to make sure that that stylus is going to be in good shape for a long time. So what I'm going to do is take you downstairs to my workroom, and I'm going to show you what system I settled with after reviewing many manual and automated systems that are available out there today. I'm going to show you the types of fluids you can use to clean your vinyl with, the one that I settled for, which is, I say, a recipe that I mix myself, and then show you the difference, if I can. I mean, in the lighting that I have set up, I'm hoping that you can see a pre and post demonstration of what this cleaning system does for your records. So meet me downstairs in just a few minutes and we'll get started. Here is the Record Doctor 5, and it's a manual record cleaning system as opposed to the automated ones with an engine and moving parts and gears, all of which can wear out and have to be replaced. The automated systems are very expensive. They can go from $500 to $2,500 and more. The Record Doctor 5 sells for about $200, and I got this off of Amazon through WS Distributing. And it's a self-enclosed system. You never have to open it. It has a plug on the bottom. You pull the plug out and let the fluid from the dirty records drain out of it. And I've cleaned 250 records with this and have had very little residue left over. I think mainly because I'm using alcohol in my own solution that I've put together from looking at videos on YouTube from audiophiles that know a lot more about this than I do. But let me show you what the machine comes with, and let me tell you about the modifications that I made that make sense based again on reviews of other audiophiles on YouTube, and why I think you should go with those modifications also. It comes with a top block and a bottom block with a roller bearing needle. A roller needle bearing, and you can see right here it's about the size of a nickel, and it goes on the spindle and it tracks inside this little grooved out area of the bottom platter. And so there isn't a lot of surface area with this style roller bearing. So the first thing that I did was I ordered a KAB gliding platter kit from KAB Electroacoustics, and the website for that is kabusa.com, and I'll have that listed at the end of the video in the credits. And what you get with that is a large washer, an O-ring to hold it down, a much larger roller needle bearing, and because of the height difference between the large roller bearing and the one that the machine comes with, KAB also sends you a slightly thinner bottom plate. Okay, and so you can just set aside the original pieces as backup if you ever need it, or you can throw them away, and you just reassemble the block and tackle, if you will, like that. And it also comes with, in the kit, it also comes with a 45 adapter so that you can also clean your 45s. Very simple but effective. Let's see, the other thing that I changed was this machine comes, unfortunately, it comes with a very cheap brush. I threw it away after even just holding it for 5 seconds. I mean, it's a very cheap brush, long, thin, and narrow, and the bristles are very hard and rigid. And I didn't even want to dare touch those bristles to my records. So I got rid of it and researched the internet, and on YouTube again I found audiophiles using this let's see, this is called the Mobile Fidelity dry and wet brush, and I bought 2 of them, each for $20. A little pricey, but it's very well made, fits great in the hand. The pad is made up of many hundreds of tiny little fibers, filaments that you can kind of feel with your fingertips. And this is nice because this is what you want to kind of push material, dust, and other debris out of the microscopic grooves of your records, the tracks of the records. I was using an edge trimmer because it's also very soft and it has these nice fingers all over the place that kind of get into the grooves of the tracks, but I was afraid that it might be a little too harsh. So I still use this on occasion when I get a used record that's got a lot of junk on it. And for the most part, I use this. Most of the used records I get, they're just dusty. They just got to be cleaned off. And so the brush, the block assembly, what else? Oh, you're going to want to buy some vacuum nozzle, they call it sweeper strip kits, because it's made of felt, and after about 50 records it wears away. So I bought this kit, again off of Amazon, from Record Doctor, and you can see it's just the felt pad with the slot and an adhesive backing. You just peel the strip off and replace it after cleaning off the nozzle. The other thing you're going to want is a soft toothbrush. This is just an Oral-B soft toothbrush, and I use that after every 2 or 3 records that I'm cleaning, if I'm doing say 10 or 15 at a time, depending on my deliveries. Gently use this toothbrush to remove ingrained dust and other types of material from the felt. Okay, so that's going to be useful. And I have a couple of lint-free cloths that I use to work to put my record on, so I don't contaminate it with more dust from linen or from a towel. And I use another one to clean off any remaining fluid, which is rare, but I still like to just give it the once over. And I'm going to show this to you momentarily. The other thing I want to talk about before we do that is the solution. So the system comes with, like I said, a proprietary Record Doctor RXLP record cleaning solution with no alcohol, and it's a recipe that's, like I say, is proprietary. They don't give you the ingredients, and I'm sure it's fine. I actually use it, you can see, for the first several records, maybe 20-25 records. and I could tell it was not going to last very long for my collection. And I didn't want to buy this stuff because it was very expensive. So I searched the internet and I found Audiophiles were listing their recipes. And the best one that I found that works for me, and that I believe will work for you, is a mixture of distilled water that you can get at the pharmacy, okay, and 99% isopropyl alcohol. You don't want to use 97% or 90% from Walmart. You want to go to the pharmacy and get some good alcohol. 99%, as pure as you can get it. And then the magic ingredient is Kodak Professional Photo Flow 200. And this is very expensive. This is the most expensive part of the recipe. It's $17 for a bottle, but this amount is going to last you 3 lifetimes, because when you mix a container of the solution, you're going to use 2 parts distilled water, 1 part of 99% pure isopropyl alcohol, and only 3 to 5 drops of the photo flow. 3 to 5 drops. And the reason why you're even using this is because you need it as a wetting agent. When you're just using water and alcohol, you're going to have a streaky, puddled kind of appearance on your record. But the photo flow, and you just don't need much of it, it's highly concentrated. What it does is it mixes really nice with the water and alcohol, and helps it to wet on the album, record, vinyl, whatever you want to call it. So let's get started here. I received a shipment today, and I've been trying to get an original release, a first pressing of The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway by Genesis. And after, I'd say, 200 records, used records, that I've purchased, I haven't really had any problems except for one. One had a skip in the first song on side 1. That's nothing to complain about. But I've had trouble trying to get a decent copy, a used copy of The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, without having to go to the expense of buying it on 180 gram, which to me is just a marketing ploy to get you to spend big bucks on PVC material. But in any case, that's a topic for another day. I like the first pressings. They haven't been remastered yet, so you're getting a pure analog recording. But in any case, I've not had any luck yet with getting a really good copy of The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. So here, this guy sent me a used album for, I think I paid $15 for it. And it came poorly packaged. I mean, you know, it's very discouraging the way it came in. The album was actually, the cardboard album cover was actually a little damaged. But plus the record was not taken care of very well. I don't know if you can see in a light, but there's a lot of dust on it, and you may not be able to see this, but I can see a lot of fingerprints. So the first thing I do is I lay down my lint-free cloth, and if you're going to rewash your lint-free cloths, just wash them with your distilled water and 99% alcohol mix. You don't have to use the photo flow, just use water and alcohol. And you can add 2 or 3 drops of liquid detergent and just wring it out, dunk it in the water, wring it out, dunk it, and then dry it overnight. And it gets nice and soft, and you know, so to save a little money, I don't go and buy big bags of these things. I just keep reusing a few of them that I have in circulation. So we'll take the record, and what I've done is I've put some of my stock, my handy stock, on the side of the mix into a little bottle that came with a pair of glasses, prescription glasses that I got a couple years ago. It was not being used for anything. I wasn't even using them for my glasses. So I emptied out the solution that was in it, washed it out with the distilled water and alcohol mix. Okay, so it was clean and uncontaminated with any kind of lens fluid or tap water. And you don't want to use tap water because it's contaminated with lots of minerals and chemicals that are used in the purification process at the water plant. So you want to stay away from tap water. You don't want to use liquid detergent and soapy water to clean your records, because all you're doing is contaminating them. And I've read, I haven't seen it myself, but I've read that it can cause your vinyl to lose its luster and become cloudy if you leave such contaminants in it. Just spray it on generously. In this case, I really want it on generously because this record is one of the used records that came in pretty bad shape. They don't usually come in this bad, but in any case, what I'll do now is I'll take my new brush from Mobile Fidelity, which is kind of a strange name for a brush company. Sounds more like a cell phone company. And I'm rubbing this. I don't know if you can see it, but you may be able to see the fingerprints that are coming up a little easier as I'm putting the solution on. And I've heard about people, or read about people, saying that the proper way to apply the solution is just to go in the same direction. Others have said to give it a gentle wiggle back and forth and reverse the cleaning motion. For me, it doesn't really matter, does it? Because whatever direction you're going in, there's dust that's being pushed from what's being picked up along those grooves. So all I'm really interested in doing is just dislodging the dust and any other kinds of particles. Before I even started doing this, I took a clean linen, like a handkerchief, and I just did a little brush off in case there was any sand, grains of sand on it, or chalk, or paper fibers from an old inner sleeve. So I've got the solution on there. I go ahead and I put it face down, and I'm going to turn this on. It's going to make a lot of noise like most vacuums do, and I'm going to slowly spin it so that I'm not making excessive contact between the vinyl and the vacuum nozzle. I've seen where folks are just spinning it 5 or 6 times. I like just to go once around real slow and maybe one more time. So I can see a big difference here. If I go ahead and I just give it a slight rub with my lint-free cloth, I have a much cleaner album, record, vinyl, whatever you want to call it, compared to the other side. I hope you can see the difference like I can. The lighting might not be the best for this demonstration. Okay, so then I'll do the other side. Here's another example. This is an old Chess release, some Chicago blues, and this one's a little dirtier than the one I just showed you. So this might be a better example. This has a lot of dust, lots of fingerprints, and debris all over it. It's so bad I don't want to lay it down on my lint-free cloth. I'm just going to lay it down on linen. I'm going to take my pillowcase my clean pillowcase and just do a quick brush off. This is the obvious stuff that I want to get off the record. Why clog up my nice record Dr. 5, right? Okay, so you can still see it looks like somebody spilled a drink on it, maybe. Where else did I? Oh, look at this. Yeah, so it's just pretty bad shape. I mean, you know, I'm glad to have this record because, you know, it's old. It's 1972. And a Chess Records release, which is pretty cool. Alright, so I got a lot of the obvious material off. Now I'm going to give it a good soaking with my solution. I'm going to be really generous with this one. Just going to let it sit there for about a minute. I'm not putting any pressure on this brush. I'm letting the brush do all the work. It's not a heavy brush, but it does have a nice feel to it. It has a nice light weight to it. And I'm really just saturating this record, getting all of that solution into those grooves. It already looks cleaner. Okay, well, let's give it a spin. And again, I'm going slow. There's no need to keep spinning it. Just the fact, I think the slower you go, the better, because you're concentrating the narrow slot of the vacuum nozzle along the specific area of the record that tracks over it. Here we go. And look at that. I mean, I knew it was going to be beautiful. I mean, this is just gorgeous. I don't see any fingerprints, whatever food or Coke or coffee or whatever else it was that was clogged in the grooves is gone. So now let's just quickly do the other side. I'll fast forward this so we're not just wasting time watching it. The only other thing I want to leave you with is when these records come in, don't forget they're going to have the old inner sleeves. This one is obviously yellowed with age and it's got some staining on it. Plus it's paper, and paper against vinyl, I don't think it's a good thing. With a clean record, I want to use a clean sleeve, and I use the type that's a paper sleeve with a poly plastic inner sleeve. The last thing that I do with my used albums when they come in is I take some Windex and a pillowcase. You can use a handkerchief or a piece of sheet. The whole point is to use something soft and spray directly on the record and give it a little rub. And you'll get all kinds of dirt on it. Cigarette residue, dirty fingerprints, dirt from manhandling. Okay, so you get the idea. And then just give it a little bit of a wave, and it's a much nicer looking cover. You know, I'm happy with that. Put it back into the bag, and into the collection it goes. So I hope this was helpful to you. It's always fun to make these videos, and I'll list the websites that will be of interest to you for the Record Dr. 5, for the sweeper kit, for the KAB gliding platter kit, and for the mobile fidelity brush. And thanks again for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.